Welcome back to Hero Review episode 14. Yeah, I know there's only been 14. Get off my back. And today, we're going to be looking at Jim Hawkins from the 2002 film Treasure Planet. I know I've been slacking with the hero reviews, but that's because nobody really watches them. So if you want more, make sure you like this video so I know you like it. I'm not just saying that to beg for likes. When I reviewed Silver on Villain Review, I ended up thinking he was a pretty solid villain. But how good of a protagonist is the film's hero? Let's break him down and find out. Ever since his childhood, Jimbo was always obsessed with stories of pirates, treasure, and all that cool space stuff. He was an innocent little boy obsessed with criminals and murderers. Normal stuff for little boys. But all this would change when his dad walked out on him and his mom because he couldn't handle the pressure of being a father. Unfortunately, this led Jim to going through a bit of an emo bad boy phase where he'd ride spaceboards and for some reason wear eyeliner or there's something there. That's not natural. Deep down, he was still a good boy, but on the surface, he was a sassy teen, not really having a relationship with his mom. However, one day when an old space dude showed up with a map to the fabled Treasure Planet, Jim would be forced to go on the run with this dogman, finding a crew and going after the treasure. The origin is pretty simple, but honestly, I like it. Little random how he's so into pirates as a kid, but it definitely sets up his motive for the rest of the movie. Maybe he just loves the ride. I know I do. The more interesting thing about his character is his daddy issues, because I think it's an even stronger motive than just finding the treasure. The flashback we get is a little cheesy with that early 2000s music, but the visuals themselves do a great job of showing how traumatic this event was when his dad left him. It shuts him out from the world, and that side of him doesn't open up again until he ends up with Silver, but I'll meet you in the next section for that stuff.
Section 15, paragraph,
6.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
Hi, it's the next section. Glad you got here safe. Where was I? As I was saying, the most interesting part about Jim as a character is his relationship with Silver, and it's cool because the dynamic affects Jim in a completely different way than what I explained for Silver in my villain review. The reason Jim appeals to Silver is because he brings out a human side in the cyborg he normally buries deep down, but for Jim, the dynamic is reminiscent of a father figure he never really had. With his father stepping out at such a young age, Jim becomes rebellious and just overall an annoying teen, but as Silver fills that hole, we see a light come out in Jim that was only ever seen in that little boy from the prologue. I think all of this works really well, and it makes Jim feel like a very real character. Yeah, he's a little moody and whatever, Mom, I'm gonna live my life. But that's because he never really dealt with the tragedy of losing his father in the past. You see how the ripple effects of a tragedy can affect one's life, and that's something everyone can relate to. I also like the motivation for Jim because it's simple, but also not simple. Going after the treasure to save his mom's pancake house or whatever it is, it's decent enough, but I like how going on the journey opens up so many more windows for Jim to discover himself and his place in the world. Joseph Gordon-Levitt also does a pretty good job with the performance, and I think he does bring a lot of life to the character. I think Jim is a very solid character personality-wise, and the cornerstone of that is also the film's greatest strength, the back and forth, the will they, won't they, between Jim and Silver. Honestly, this movie has a lot of good scenes. It's underrated as hell. My favorite part of Jim is that he feels like a real character, and it's super easy to relate to him. It's a small detail, but we see Jim go through a ton of different emotions in the movie. He's happy, he's sad, embarrassed, ashamed, hopeful, angry, and that's not always something you see in a protagonist. One of my favorite scenes for Jim is the same one I chose for Silver, and that's the montage of them becoming homies. I previously said, especially in the Silver review, that the music's super lame and cheesy, but honestly, it kind of came around on me. I kind of like it now. All right, okay, I'm a dynamic person myself. I can change. The whole scene shows the two getting closer, and I think it perfectly shows us everything we need to know about Jim. Interweaving the flashbacks of his dad leaving and Silver is a great way to help us understand Jim and why he's so drawn to Silver. I like this scene a lot, and honestly, you can watch it by itself without any of the context of the movie, and it's still really good. It sort of plays like a short film. The next scene I want to talk about it's a little unconventional, and it's a very small moment. It's towards the end of Silver's speech. The scene is awesome, but mainly because of Silver and his speech. But towards the end, once Silver has motivated Jim, he rests his head on Silver, and it's the closest thing he's had to a father-son moment in forever. It's small, but it shows a lot. I also want to talk about the end when he saves the day. First of all, because it's freaking sick. It's a full circle moment for Jim because he saves the day with the same thing he got in trouble for at the beginning, but more importantly, it's full circle from the speech Silver gave. Silver hypes up Jim, telling him how much potential he has and how he hopes he's there to see Jim live up to it, and then Silver is right there as Jim lives up to it. Jim's catching the light, Silver's there. It's fantastic. I think that while in the beginning of the movie he's a little angsty, deep down he's still a good kid, and we see that in the way he treats others and how he wants to get the treasure to help his mom. All throughout the movie, his motivation stays pretty clear, and even when Silver betrays him, he's never at all blinded or tempted to join the villains. He loves his mom, and he wants to do what's right, and he saves the whole ship by the end of it doing so. At first, I wondered if maybe he was a little too perfect, right? Because he's smart, he's tech savvy, he's the Tony Hawk of these flying surfboards, but I don't really think that's the case. Yeah, he's good at a lot, but emotionally, he's fragile, and he needs the guidance of his mom and Silver to push him along the way. He's hard on himself, he's moody, probably does like some emo hair flips, you know what I'm saying? And that's what makes him feel real. He's flawed.
What's this? It's Treasure Planet. No.
I remember liking Jim as a main character, but honestly, I think he's underrated. He's by no means a perfect hero, but I don't have too many flaws with him either. I still think Silver is the film's most fun character, but Jim is well written and just all around a very solid protagonist. He's got good development scenes, and again, a solid motivation. Jim Hawkins, you're alright, man, alright? I'm gonna give Jimbo an 8. Thanks again for watching, and let me know what you think of Jim in the comments below and who I should review next. I'm trying to make more hero reviews, but we'll see if people like the video or if you guys even want them. Cool, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.